People often call me and ask me, how much will it cost to get divorced? Well, this is sort of like calling an auto mechanic and saying, my car doesn't start, my car isn't working, how much will it cost to repair? Until the mechanic can do a diagnosis, and maybe even multiple diagnoses, the mechanic can't tell you how many parts there's going to be need to be replaced. The mechanic won't be able to tell you how long, how much labor is going to be involved. The parts could be more or less expensive depending on the make and model of your car, the year of your car. The amount of time spent could be based on the difficulty level, the amount of time required to dig into the guts of the vehicle to repair whatever it is that's broken or replace. So oftentimes a mechanic will charge a fee for this diagnostic, and then it's up to you whether you want to hire that mechanic, try to do the work yourself, or go to another mechanic. Well, I'm sort of similar in that respect. I want to have a consultation with the client, get to know the client a little bit, get to know their motivations, what the other side wants, what they want, see if issues are resolvable or if everything's going to be contested and fought. So as far as the attorney's fees portion, it's hard to say. Most attorneys are going to require a retainer and bill hourly. Some attorneys will do flat fee work for a very specific scope of the case. Other lawyers might do consulting work where the person's representing themselves and just comes into a lawyer for an hourly fee to go over the paperwork to save on costs. But anyway, that's just the attorney's fees. The question is broader than that. How much does it cost to get divorced, right? Attorney's fees can definitely be a big deal. Attorneys are expensive. And if you hire an extremely expensive attorney, then it's on you if you run out of money, because there are other attorneys that may charge less or might not bill you as much or what have you, right? So it's not stupid to call around and ask attorneys how much they charge, but really probably the question to ask is, how much is your retainer? How much is your hourly rate? Do you have any other financial arrangements? I have them listed on my website, all my financial arrangements. A lot of firms are very upfront about the different plans they have. Some take credit card, will actually sign you up for a credit. Not through them, but through a credit company. Some will take timed payments. Some will do flat fee work. Some will bill. All depends. So outside of attorney's fees, there are lots of other costs associated with getting divorced in court, including court filing fees. The initial filing of your documents can be several $100s, and then there's various filing fees after the initial filing, including the document fee through the court, the credit card fee for filing electronically, and so on. Service of process, if it's you doing the suing, you're going to have to serve the other side. You have to hire a process server to do that. That's going to cost up to a couple of $100, maybe more, depending on where the person is and how difficult they are to serve. Private investigator, if you have to try to locate the person and you need an extensive background check or what have you, private investigator can cost you a few $100s. Other cost, counseling. If court orders counseling for one of the parties or a child of the parties, that's going to cost money. OutsourcedEvaluators. This is where the court says, okay, I need more evidence. The parties aren't going to be able to do it on their own, so I'm going to have an outsourced evaluator, perhaps someone to interview the child or what have you, to write up a report or do a videoed interview or something for the court to review. Expert witnesses, if you have a business or real estate or any number of other things that require valuation, antiques, or even valuation of a person's mental state, you'll need credentialed experts, and they charge hundreds of dollars an hour to evaluate, to write up reports, and to testify at trial. There can be traveling expenses for yourself, for your witnesses, for your lawyers. If you're from out of state, you might have to travel here for hearings and trials. You may have to bring your witnesses and put them up. You may have to pay witnesses subpoena fees. So there's all these costs that can add up there just to build up your evidence before you even get to trial, and that could be traveling costs and expenses. Now, those are, of course, the direct out-of-pocket costs associated with divorce, and there may be more, but there are other costs that people don't often think about, and that their decisions can have a long-term effect on their pocketbook. For instance, if you divide the debt in your divorce and you don't really consider how it's going to impact you long-term, the division of debt can hurt you. I mean, you can ask for an unequal division of debt and make a good case that maybe you shouldn't have half the debt if the other side is getting more than half of the value that came from the debt, or what have you. So you want to think about division of debt. It would be unfortunate if you're having to go to bankruptcy after a divorce, but the other side doesn't because they worked out a better deal or what have you. Okay, child support, the amount of money you make, the amount of money the other parent makes, and the amount of time each of you spends with a child will affect the amount of child support. That's obviously a long-term cost. Alimony, likewise. If one spouse makes a significant amount more than the other, the one who makes more may have to pay alimony for a period of time. It could be short-term or long-term, and it could be for life. Counseling for yourself, if you're going through a tremendous mental breakdown because of a divorce, you pay for counseling just to have somebody to talk to. It might be a little less expensive than a lawyer. Lawyers can be pretty good at counseling and can make people feel better. But, of course, we charge perhaps a lot more than a counselor would, and we're not going to be under a medical plan if your medical plan would allow for counseling. All of your expenses following a divorce or split up are going to be not all, but a lot of them are going to be double. So now instead of sharing rent or a mortgage payment with your partner, you have to have your own place and pay the full amount, unless you get a roommate. Instead of sharing on entertainment, you have entertainment accounts and also electric bills and so forth. You watch one show at the same time. You're using the same account, and you're using the same electricity. Now you're no longer together. That's going to be a cost that you bear completely on your own. These are all sort of common sense ideas, but a lot of times when people are going through divorce, they're not thinking rationally about all these issues, which is why I'm bringing up in this short video, so that if you are in that mindset and you're like, I don't even care, I'm just not happy, well, someday you will be better, you'll feel better, and you might regret making bad and hasty decisions during your divorce because you just want to get it over with, or because the other side is being very hostile or whatever. Well, if you let them win, that hostility is going to transcend the divorce process, and you're going to still be suffering in the years following. Something to think about. So sometimes an aggressive and expensive lawyer is good because it will reduce a lot of those other costs, and sometimes it's bad because they could just be deluding you and encouraging you to spend a lot of money on legal fees, and they might not actually get a better result than a more reasoned approach. So those are two other weighing principles. How aggressive your attorney is versus how reasonable it is you're asking for. And you need to consider and weigh those things for your long-term financial health and emotional health. I hope that's going to be helpful to some people to hear this. And if you'd like to meet with me, schedule a consultation, come in, and I will look over your case and answer any questions you have and do the best I can to give you some guidance right away, maybe even long before the divorce process starts. Some of the advice I can give might even prevent you from making serious mistakes leading up to the filing of a divorce case. So check out some of my other videos, and a lot of my content in these videos is advice that I might give at consultations or what other lawyers should give. But obviously, when you meet with me, I will learn the special circumstances of your case and advise you accordingly. Have a good day.